Hello, YouTube. It's dark. It's a hell of a dark alley. I hear a dog on the other side of the fence. I'm pretty groggy and tired, but I'm walking. And I haven't shot any vlogs in a couple of days, so I guess I should try to update y'all on what's happened since the last video, if I can remember when the last video was. Anyway, it's 8:15 p.m. Wednesday, April 13th, 2022, and just left my home. Heading towards Amazon. Yeah, I'm late. I'm a lot later than I'm late. Now I did get around the time my alarms were going off, I did hit the Amazon A to Z app to see if it was possible for me to get VTO for the whole night. Yeah, as if. It showed that they did offer one person in my department VTO, and that had already been claimed, which I think I saw a few days ago when I was also not really feeling like heading in. I forget what day it was, but one day earlier this week, I went in. I ended up being just an hour late, but I was expecting, I expected to be 2 hours late, and I did the same thing. I forget which day of the week it was, but I went to the Amazon A to Z app, and not feeling nearly as tired and sore as I was today. And I want to say it was probably around noon or so. But I went to the Amazon A to Z app, checked to see if VTO was an option, and I saw that there was some VTO every day of the week, but they had all the opportunities had already been claimed, and at that point, and it did catch my attention that on most of those dates, there were just maybe 2 or 3 days that it had been offered. And what definitely stood out for me was that for tonight, Wednesday night, there was only one offer of VTO, and somebody had already claimed it. So I wasn't surprised when I looked at that, but I was optimistic that maybe, just maybe, it smells funny through here right now. It smells swampy. And I can see quite a bit of like wet spots along the bike route here. Anyway, I had I thought maybe, just maybe, they might have opened some more opportunities for VTO, because I do know that tends to change based on workflow and projected workflow, and but nope. So went to look at other opportunities, and basically, for those who don't work for Amazon, is if that happens, you've got 3 ways to take time off without having to get approval, just doing it. And then there are other options that require some kind of HR approval, and I won't even get into those. To be honest, I don't even know what they all are. I do know one is for bereavement, which, you know, the only thing I'm really mourning these days is the loss of my loss of my sex life with my significant other, but I don't think that qualifies for a bereavement time off. If anything, that's counterproduction, but that's another story entirely. I'm not trying to get sidetracked on, at least not yet. I do know that there's a specific option for time off due to COVID. However, right around the time I started, maybe the first or second week I was there was a change in policy regarding COVID leave. And in order to take COVID leave, it became a requirement at that point that not only must you have a positive COVID test, but you must have already submitted proof to HR that you had been vaccinated. I'm really not about sharing anywhere near that much medical information with my employer. To me, that's stuff that should be private, not even my employer's business. One thing I definitely miss working for a monster corporation compared to, I don't know, let's say working for the Field Brothers at Gilligan's. I never once had Mike or Greg ask me to submit any proof of anything. If I called and said I felt like shit and there was just no way, I just didn't think it was a good idea for me to come in and do karaoke. Usually Mike was like, "Yeah, you sound like shit. Don't come here getting everybody sick. Let me know how you feel tomorrow." The only time I would say I took there was a time I would say I took what would count as bereavement leave. Although at the time my sister wasn't dead. So my sister Kim had been in a really tragic motorcycle accident. She was on life support, and it was not expected that she would survive it. And the whole family was trying to get together there where she was on life support in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And she, at that point, I called Mike, and, he didn't want to see any proof of, "Oh, do you have some proof of that accident? Can I see a picture of your sister on life support?" Like, there was none of that bullshit. Like, it was just like, "Oh Lord, good luck with that. Yeah, we'll survive without karaoke. Just go be there for your family." So, I'm assuming with anything medical related, particularly COVID, there needs to be a sharing of notes from your doctor, which I'm just, my private medical care is my private medical care. So, anyway, that's not even the part I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about the three main ways of taking time off, and that is unpaid time. And I'm not even going to try to explain how unpaid time works at Amazon, but it's anyway. There's unpaid time. There is, which means that you get time off. You have so much credit for unpaid time that you can use, and if you use that up, you're supposedly be fired. So I'm not quite sure. As a general rule, I try not to use that. There's also paid time off, which is just as it sounds. And then there's vacation time, which is functionally the same thing, but it's calculated differently. Anyway, I'm trying to rack up more paid time off, and I'm pretty sure, like, the paycheck for this pay period I'm working on, I'll be fine financially without getting paid. So today I tried to put in. Now, the other day when I was just taking 2 days off, I thought it would be, what the hell, get paid time off for the 2 days. But for this one, it was like, well, it's a whole day. That paid time off is kind of racking up, which I'd like to, at some point, maybe use that to have a paid vacation to go back to Portland and see my daughter. So I tried to use the unpaid time off. My unpaid time. I'm not 100% sure if I did it right. I went through the app and Like, I think I did it, but I never got any kind of confirmation that it went through. And then when I went back to the app, I didn't see any kind of confirmation in the app that it had gone through. But I've never used this feature of the app, so I have no idea what exact confirmation I'm looking for. I do know it seems like most every time where I've done any kind of like voluntary time off, or it seems like anything, I always got like a text message or an email confirming that I've done it. And this I didn't, but I'm pretty sure I clicked everything. Anyway, so I don't think I've vlogged about this, but when I went back to oh, and of course I'm taking the 17 because there's no more express buses. So it's just the most sensible route to go. Okay, I was thinking that person in the white was waiting for the bus, but now that they're walking off, I'm kind of concerned that there's not a bus coming. So that person at the bus stop doesn't look like they're waiting for the bus. It looks like they've decided that's their new home. So let me make sure my bus is coming. It's 8:26 p.m. If I recall, when I checked to see what time the bus was going to show up, it's at 8:29. So that is not the right app. LA Metro. Click the bus stop. Yeah, scheduled for 8:29. That's what it said then. Now it says it's delayed 8:32. Generally speaking, delayed buses are not a good thing, but when I see it's delayed by a couple of minutes, that actually, most of the time, makes me feel better, because that tells me that it actually is running. I've had more than once on this route, more than twice on this route, where I've got to the bus stop and the bus showed it was scheduled, but it never came. And at least when I see delayed, now seeing 8:31, that's even better. It tells me it's probably gaining some time going over the mountain. And I'm clicking on it to... It's kind of rough to use this on the Obama phone because of the extreme low resolution. The Obama phone number 1. Extreme low resolution of the screen doesn't give much, the way the app is laid out, it doesn't give much real estate left for the map, for the live tracking. Yep, it's going over the mountain. It just went over 64th Street. So it'll be here shortly. Anyway, today this video was not going to be about Amazon HR, but here we are. I was going to talk about what all has happened with me since my last video. But being that I don't remember exactly when my last video was, there hasn't been a lot happen, but just the rift between Priscilla and I continues to grow, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. In fact, if it wasn't for that, I would be staying at home and trying to enjoy a night with her, but it became abundantly clear after I woke up, I want to say at about 7:20, that was not at all on the agenda. And given the opportunity, given the choice between taking this route to Amazon and going to work, even as sore as I am, and mind you, I'm very sore. My hands hurt a lot, and I've got this pain like in my chest. I don't know if maybe I just strained my shoulder, strained my arm, I'm not sure, but it did make it difficult to sleep. It doesn't bother me as much when I'm standing up, but definitely when I lay down, I've got a pain in my chest. I'm not even sure it's muscle pain, but whatever it is, it's a sharp pain, and it did make it difficult to sleep. And given the choice between going to work, dealing with this pain, and being at home alone, well, not alone, while she completely ignores me, and I'm laying in bed not feeling good and just craving some physical human contact, and not getting it, I'd just rather tough it out at work. So anyway, as I was saying, the last and I may as well, while I'm on the subject, when I got home from work this morning, Wednesday morning, so Tuesday night shift, I get home a little after 7. Like the bus drops me off. I wasn't watching the time like I often do, but generally speaking, like when that ride home works of the 5:29. Oh, nice headlights, dude. Nice headlights. The 5:29 p.m. 5:29 a.m. I-10 Rapid. It's usually about a 5-minute transfer, sometimes a little quicker, sometimes a little less, but generally speaking, about a 5-minute transfer to the Phoenix Light Rail. I take that to 44th Street, and I have about 4 minutes. It's a real tight transfer to the northbound 44, and I get home, and I've documented this several times on my vlog. I end up getting, well, not home, but dropped off in front of the Dirty Drummer, opposite the corner of the QT at 44th and Washington, 44th and Oak, at about 5:58, so almost 6 o'clock. 6:58, almost 7 o'clock. And then as far as like when I get home, depends on how quickly I walk home. Most mornings I pop into the QT and get something to eat, and today was no exception. At 7 o'clock, provided they have somebody to work that position, which isn't always a given, but they have their kitchen open, and the cook that's usually there, she's really nice, and for like $3 I can get a bowl of scrambled eggs with cheese and bacon in it, and it makes for a nice, breakfast / into the night meal, so I can go to bed not on an empty stomach. So anyway, I got that. So I would estimate I probably got home at about between 7:05 and 7:10, and Priscilla was not there. Our car was not there. She's not there. I was kind of surprised by that. Now, there's no way of knowing, had she just left or had she been gone all night. I have no way of knowing that because she doesn't tell me anything. The cats sure seemed excited to see somebody there, but I mean, I could go outside for 10 minutes and they sometimes react like that, so that's not a really solid gauge. But I do know sometimes she'll get up in the morning and just go to get coffee, start her work shift. So I'm wanting to give her the benefit of the doubt that that's what was going on. But how long does it take to get coffee? I mean, she generally speaking goes to Circle K. I'm not sure which Circle K. I think she goes to the one at 44th Street in Osborne. Again, I rarely have anything to do with her life as much as she has really anything to do with mine these days. I don't know where she goes. I don't go with her. Never been asked to go with her. And if he did, I'd probably say no. So, because her vehicle is such a mess that it's just not comfortable for me to be in it. Anyway, she didn't make it home until almost 9 o'clock. So she was gone over an hour and a half that I was home. My gut feeling is she stayed the night with somebody else again. I don't know who she's staying the night with, but that's just not a good sign, especially when there's absolutely no physical affection coming my way. So, anyway, yeah, that sucks. I kept saying I was not going to do any more of those kind of videos, but somehow this one just devolved into one of those. But that was how my morning was. Not good. When she came in, she didn't even, I saw her cut through the hallway and disappear into the bathroom, but she didn't even come into my room to see if I was there or not. And, anything, just is like I didn't exist. So, yeah, that sucks. And by that time, I was laying in bed. I was having the side pain, but I was still awake. Sometimes it's hard to get to sleep. Even when I'm tired, it's hard to get to sleep when I get home because it's already daylight and whatnot. Anyway, so that was my morning. I did fall asleep not too long after that. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's up with that. So that's a large part of why I'm not so eager to stay there, and I just as soon even feeling like shit, go into Amazon and see what HR can do to even things out for me. So the last time I talked to HR, and that may have been my last video, I said I was going in. I do recall I was shooting video and saying I was going in and that I had done PTO until 9 p.m., but only really needed it to 8 p.m. And HR fixed it right up. I didn't even have to do it in the app. I wish they'd have shown me how to do it in the app, because I'd be a lot more self-reliant if I knew how to do it in the app. But they just did it on their computer, had me clock in, and off to work I went. I did ask them about how on the day that I got back, and I forget what the date was, but the day I got back from Portland, how it shows up as a red needs attention on my calendar in my app. And as I guess I ended up clocking in at about 8 after, due to the incident where the bus driver, who was already running late, walked off the bus at QT and was out of the bus for 10 minutes. So I just sat at the intersection of 75th Avenue and Van Buren, going from running late to work to, well, fuck, now I'm going to be late. Thanks for making me late, you inconsiderate asshole of a driver. You should not only be fired, but should be flogged. So it was 8 minutes, and I told them and I explained what happened, and the people at HR were like, they can do that? I'm like, oh yeah, that's the kind of bullshit that our transit drivers do here all the time. It's really ridiculous. And they seemed pretty shocked that was a thing, but anyway, they said that they could have fixed it had I brought that to their attention immediately, but that since that pay period has already expired and I've already been paid for it, that there's no fixing it. So now I know. Anyway, here's my bus. Thanks for coming with me on the walk, and see what happens when I get to Amazon.